Hello, VUC folks. This is former President Barack Obama. As I am now a seeker of gainful employment, I'd like you to know that I am available to do your IVR for reasonable rates. You can contact me through Randy at the VUC, but enough about me. Let's enjoy this week's session. Over to you, Randy.
Thank you, Barry. This week's session is about Kamailio World, and we are featuring the person who is about to become the queen of Kamailio World. Well, one of the queens, because we have another queen coming in. Allison Smith, the lovely, the charming, the wonderful, the intelligent, the sparkling Allison Smith, the voice of Asterisk, and our girlfriend of all of us. Allison.
Hello, good morning. Well, good evening, depending on where you are. Hi. Hi, everybody.
Indeed. And Allison, this is your very first time at Kamailio World, correct?
Absolutely. And I think you're saying it correctly. I'm not sure. Kamailio.
Well, wait a minute. Let's have Daniel correct us here. Daniel, how do you say Kamailio?
Well, for me, it's just Kamailio World, but probably Allison, or maybe if Fred is around, he can spell it better for the American and British friends here. Because I think I pronounce it more like Latin sounds or so.
Fred may be on ZipDX, but we have Kathleen here, and she was there last year. Kathleen, how do you pronounce Kamailio World?
I just say Kamailio.
Plus world, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Anybody else want to try before we get to the meat of the session?
Well, it always has been Kamailio, as in Kamailio. That's how you remember it. It's easy.
At any rate, I'm just looking at the faces here, and it seems to me that Michael Graves is the only person who has not yet been. And I would admonish you, Michael, that before it's too late, you should come to Berlin.
I think we have a higher than normal female content today. There's another female on the panel. I'm so excited.
There's like 800% improvement. Yeah.
Just tell me that we did, in fact, get video of James doing his Boy George impression just now, because that's actually got to be treasured and used against him.
No, I was just trying to warm up in here. You probably noticed the heating's not working in here, so it's a bit chilly today. And you would, wouldn't you, Tim? You'd use that in a live demo.
You know, it may happen. It may happen, but only if you're in the room.
But only because you're a clever little geeky. Well,
yes, or yes. No, we actually the Lego dog hasn't been out much recently. It needs another trip out into the big wide world.
Well, the main reason you won that dangerous demo was because you had the Allison voice.
It said some wonderful things as well, if I recall.
Prompts that still haunt me to this day. Things like, "Will you be my master?" Yeah.
Actually, Allison, I was hoping you could resolve something. I'm not sure you can, because we're talking about something that happened probably 11 years ago. Oh. But I wanted to know the second line of, "This is an echo test." That is the first line, right? Or you are...
Yeah. What's the second line?
Yeah, what is the second line?
"This is an echo test."
No, this is an echo test. You will hear yourself
Everything
back.
that you say will be taken down and used in evidence.
The old man's got it, I think.
Will be repeated back to you.
Yes.
And so then there's a thing about the latency, which I can't remember.
You guys have a better memory for this than I do. Once I voice it, it's off the hard drive of the mind.
Well,
if you've heard it every day for about 10 years, then it kind of sticks.
Right. And you've done...
Sorry, you have to listen to that, honey, every day.
You've done hundreds of things since then, Allison, obviously. So what made you decide to come to Kamailio World this year?
You know, you, Mr. Randy Resnick, planted the seed, as it were. He just... Randy suggested that perhaps... Yeah, planted the seed. Oh, my God.
I'm red.
I walked right into that one. Oh, Lord. Calm down, everybody. No. Yeah, so it was suggested by Randy that
idea.
perhaps this might be a fantastic audience. And, Daniel and I had a conversation. I said to him, does anyone know who I am in Europe? And he just laughed. Yeah, so I think it's going to be an incredibly good time.
Well, to be honest, I didn't really know who you were until I came to the States and met you and had dinner with you. And what a revelation.
Well, I think people have known Allison through her voice, obviously, for all these years, but no one knew. I mean, the first time I heard that voice, it didn't mean anything to me. I said, oh, someone voiced a thing,
Well, you don't get Allison's
there's a legend.
personality, do you?
No, and there is a legend behind all this, as we know, and there's a whole story behind it, and the fact that this didn't have to be, Allison. This did not have to be a thing where you knew Mark, and this could have just been a thing where somebody contacted you by email. You did the prompt. In those days, there was like three. What was the initial thing that you did actually for them? It was only just a few things, right? The echo test and what else?
It was probably a page and a half of prompts, and I was contacted by Digium staffers who are no longer there anymore. And I just thought it was kind of a one-off, and it turned into this amazing thing. So I'm extremely grateful.
Well, it's turned into something else. I have information that Allison Smith, the voice of Asterisk, is about to become Allison Smith, the voice of Free Switch. Is that true?
It is absolutely 100% true. Yeah, I'm excited about it. So it was just good timing. Free Switch requires a new voice for their core sounds, and I'm available. So it's going to be epic. So we actually have a crowdfunding page going, a GoFundMe page.
Where is that? Come on, let's go and.
Well, let's get the URL.
Kathleen was presumably.
Kathleen probably has that.
Yeah, Kathleen, what is the URL of the?
Kathleen, if you put it in the chat on Hangouts or even in IRC or both or whatever, I will replicate it on my screen.
And we will plug it mercilessly.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So this is just, to finance the recording of the core sounds. And then, of course, prompts will be available into the future. And they're going to be sounding hopefully a little bit different from the standard Asterisk telephony prompts. Oh, look at that. Who is that? Oh my God.
I've got my wallet out. I'm waving the Queen at you. Look at that £20 note on its way to the crowdfunding now.
Now, James, you know the story when Pete and I got married in St. Lucia, their money has the Queen, but the portrait is from when she was like 19. So Pete and I took out a Canadian 20 and showed them a current portrait of the Queen, and they were like, what's that? Yeah. So anyhow, yes, people should contribute to the recording of the core sounds. It'll be a fantastic platform, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and we're excited too, because unlike the Queen, our Allison Queen Allison does not age.
Oh, bless your heart, James.
And here is that page. So it's GoFundMe.com/
We're at $100 so far. Look at that.
Alice.
They got a whole $100.
Wow. All right. Well, we should stay on this. Come on, folks. Let's push this up while we're watching. Okay.
So I think the thing I really like about Kamailio World, and it's also true of the other conferences now, Clucon as well, that and Astricon, that we've started actually kind of cross-pollinating, that people turn up from the other competing environments to each other's conferences and make good contributions. That, like in the early days, that was always kind of quite not exactly hostile, but it's quite a competitive war-like atmosphere between the various platforms. And now it's a much more collaborative spirit, and I really like that. I mean, you get really nice, good talks from the Free Switch and the Asterisk people at Kamailio World, and vice versa. And I think that's so much more positive environment, and that is not relatively recent, but probably only in the last few years that's been true. And I really I want to welcome it. And I don't know how much effort behind the scenes took place to make that happen, but whoever did it's much appreciated, I think.
I'm working on this donation. I need to make it go up straight away.
I think that the industry has grown. I wouldn't say grown, but grown up, and there's been shakeouts and so on, and everybody knows everybody anyway. So there's really no point in being too crazy. The fact is that the Free Switch folks and Kathleen will nod her head in approval on this. You know, like to party. We like to party. Asterisk people, some of them at least, like to party. Allison likes to party. Look at her.
I've been known to party.
You know she likes to party.
Absolutely.
And even Daniel with a family, he likes to party. Daniel, why don't you give us a little idea of what's happening? You said you were going to come up with maybe a partial list or whatever. What do you got? What do you got for us? It's very early days. We're going to come back and talk about this when we get much closer, where we know what's happening. But what have you got for now, Daniel?
So yeah, today we publish a couple of the speakers, actually. Few more.
I might be able to put this up actually.
So of course Allison is there, but surprisingly it's gonna be also a group, a big group of new speakers.
Yeah, I have the speakers. So
they look like reasonably senior speakers.
And of course, many.
Alex Balashov. Who would like to say
Who?
a word about Alex?
A man of many words.
Yes. The lovely Allison Smith.
Most of them sarcastic.
And
Karsten Bach. Well, you know, just the first three are worth coming to Berlin to see, actually, already. Chad Hart. Well, Chad Hart.
I always expand my vocabulary with him.
You know Chad, I'm sure.
Yes.
Tim? And Tim?
Oh, yeah.
So, you got quite a...
Well, you had him on the VUC only a couple of months ago, didn't
Yes. And there's the lovely Elena Romana, who is going to be there.
Lovely, lovely, yes. We don't see enough of Elena Romana.
Dragos, but we see her if we go to Berlin, we see her.
Yes, we do. Yes, it's very true.
Dragos is a founder of Core Networks, chief of engineering, and he does things there. And a new person, just like Allison, Fred Posner will be there.
I wouldn't call Fred new, but it's good.
No, new to Berlin.
New to Berlin.
James, we're talking Berlin here. James, he's new to Berlin. Giacomo. You say Giacomo, I see Giacomo.
Yeah, who's that guy? Some dodgy old guy there.
Oh, James Bowdy.
Gosh.
I do not know the Dr. Corici. Who can tell us? He's a deputy director of the Next Generation Network Infrastructures.
He is, and he's clearly another extremely brainy.
I think he spoke last year, didn't he?
He did. In fact, he did a tour of their. Did he not, Daniel? Wasn't there?
Yeah. He's from the institute. He's now the deputy director of the what's called department. I was working on, and they are the co-organizer of the event.
And it's a great, for those who haven't been, it's a great location. I mean, it's a nice conference building, nice open light, spare, airy space, but in a glorious location in Berlin as well. So, next to the river and good area.
Large enough
close to Wire's office as well, which is
large enough to fly your drone as well.
Yeah, no, I should actually. If things are the gods are with me, I shall bring a drone this time.
And we've got Matt Fredrickson. That's great. And Ule Johansson. Who does not want to meet Ule? Sandro Gocci. Wow, this is
Go back to Matt and read what he's done. Like, Matt is a thing.
Yeah. First of all, he's one of the most personable people in the industry, as far as I'm concerned, right? You guys all know him.
But he wrote the SS7 stack, the ISDN stack, the daddy drivers. I mean, it's like basically the underpinnings of the whole of Asterisk.
Yeah, I mean, when is he going to actually do something? That's the question, right? Matt is incredible. He's a very nice guy, and he has certainly accomplished a lot. So Ule wrote, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't he write the whole SIP part of, what did he write?
Oh, various bits of dodgy software.
I think he's one of the initial authors of the old SIP channel in Asterisk.
He's one of the people who I absolutely dread following onto a stage. Like,
Yeah, he's a
there are
very
a
good
couple
speaker.
couple of people who are like a nightmare to follow onto the stage. He's one, and Duffett's another. Duffett throws sweets at the audience and gets them so wound up that it's like having toddlers there.
You're
And
right. He throws them,
just
and I eat them.
so much energy into the whole thing that the whole audience is like drained of every erg that they ever had, and they're just sitting there going, now we have to do all of these things. It's like he guilts the whole audience. So I dread following him onto the stage.
These are actually, and I'm not kidding about this, when I look at these names, and mine's coming up, but I'm not including myself in this at all, but all of these people, including you, Tim, if you're going to be, I assume, doing something there. You're coming, aren't you, Tim?
I will
sure.
go. I haven't actually contributed the talk. I'm not sure. I should talk to Daniel about whether there's anything I could say that would be useful.
Well, at any rate, what I wanted to say, and I am not kidding, is that all of these people really are better speakers than most of the. I mean, there's a lot of people that come and speak at all the conferences all over the world, but these people, every one of them, actually makes a case for being a pretty good speaker. Simon Woodhead, for example. Simon's one of our sponsors, by the way, the VUC. Go Simon. Anyway, he's a very funny guy, and he sounds just like who's the British actor who played in 10? Anyway,
Dudley Moore.
Yes, he sounds just like Dudley Moore. I don't know why. He's Welsh, so that doesn't make any sense.
Well, he's not Welsh.
He's not. He just lives.
He just lives up a Welsh mountain.
Okay. Well, for some reason,
all his friends.
For some reason, he sounds like. Anyway, and these other folks who I think they were both around last year too.
No, the last one, it's a new one, which is
Wolfgang.
quite interesting proposal, because these days next generation emergency services are quite hot topic, and
particularly in things like cars and things like that, because all of a sudden machines are going to be making emergency calls on your behalf because you might be incapacitated.
My car will already do that, which is a bit disconcerting. Like, if you pair the Bluetooth in the car with your phone, then that automatically enables it making 999 calls or 911 or 112, actually.
But wait a minute, Tim, I have a question for you. Can it do 311 calls?
And can it order?
And do you know what that? Does anybody know what that is? First of all,
you mean 112?
No, 311.
311 is it directory services or something?
No. Okay. Should we throw it out there? Kathleen, you might know.
Kathleen will know.
She might.
Really?
Yeah, you have to be in the United States, or Michael might know. I don't know if he can speak.
It's not ringing a bell at the moment.
Okay, 311. That may be a local thing in California or something. No, it can't be, because somebody
No,
on
it
the
is.
East Coast. 311 is a service when you want to report things like potholes on a street. Right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
am I crazy? I might be
No,
wrong.
we have
actually.
that here.
Okay, so your IoT stuff, your car should call in when it feels a pothole. You know,
Right.
They would love that. The
I
road
think you should
services,
call in every time Tim's runs out of electricity as well.
city services, right?
Yes, send me a
Michael,
charge now.
thank you.
No, well, that your
City
car
services.
needs, Tim. Your car needs to be able to place an order on Amazon Prime for another set of AA batteries. That'll solve your problem, won't it? Anyway,
you'd need
Brian,
a lot of them, James.
BKW asks if anybody knows what 711 is. I think it's a store that stays open from 7 to 11, usually in the United States, even though they don't anymore. Is that what was that the joke, or is it actually something at 711?
Why isn't Brian joining us by
Well, he could.
some method?
Let me.
Yes.
Of course, after those noise spikes of last week, let me see. I gotta find.
yeah, because we've got the Queen of VoIP, we've got the Princess of VoIP, and now let's have the other Queen.
Oh,
No, don't go there. No, I said the wrong thing.
Hey now.
No.
All right.
Go on, Brian. Let's test this new Hangout thing. See how see
Sure.
if we can break it.
All right. He has it.
Oh, Alison's talking when we're not hearing you, Alison.
Oh, Allison, you're muted. Sorry.
No, you're not.
Somewhere.
Oh, locally.
Well, she might be locally.
You've got a local mute?
No, not me. Oh, we're not hearing you anymore. Well, that's because girls can't do audio. Let's
Oh,
face
you
it.
can't say that.
You can't say that to Allison, for God's sake.
Definitely can't.
that
say
would be,
Of all people.
that is rather amusing, isn't it?
Allison,
Allison, let me. How come?
Allison, the voice has
Where's
lost
your
it.
microphone? No, we're not.
Sign language.
Yeah,
No, we
not
can't
hearing
hear you at all.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
We can't hear anything. Yeah, we can see Allison getting more and more agitated.
Well, I am too. I want to hear what you're saying.
Oh, wait a
All
minute.
right. So how's everything there? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yes. Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was fiddling with the I shouldn't fiddle.
Don't fiddle.
My question was, as the first-time speaker to Kamailio World, are there things that I need to know about the European audience versus the American audience?
Yes. Aluminium.
Duly noted. Writing it down.
So the thing, actually, the big thing I found is that the video is so much better. They they have a good crew who video the talks, and they will turn out high quality videos within a day or so.
Nice.
So it actually, and they're super helpful. The tech guys are super helpful. They rescued me last time from a collapsing demo. So
what's new?
it's worth kind of taking the visuals into account. It's not like, I mean, if I dare say, Astracon, where the videos are kind of released 9 months later in postage stamp format.
Yeah.
So what that means is we're talking about wardrobe and makeup.
No, but just the theatrical, the visuals
Well,
of
I
it.
have to
Bear
go
that in
for at
mind.
least half an hour's preparation before going on.
James, I was being serious and answering the question.
So was I.
Oh, okay.
I mean, these things are important.
Well, I think the one thing you need to be prepared for is the fact that you have this podium and there's this excellent video service, but a lot of people, it gets warm in there because of all the cameras, and a lot of people are not wearing pants behind that podium.
What?
So you need to be prepared.
Oh,
I think you're talking about a different conference that you've been to.
That's not.
Pants are what you wear
Oh,
underneath.
wait, that was
your
at night.
trousers.
Wait a minute, I'm confusing that with
Pants are underwear.
Yeah, somewhere in Berlin that was probably.
You're thinking, no.
that was the
I'm
evening.
pretty sure that was happening somewhere in Berlin.
No. Oh, that was the wire. I'm sorry, that was the wire party. That's right.
Yeah, on the roof. Yes.
Behave now.
No, it doesn't happen at Kamailio, but indeed,
That's
to
right. That
have
would
the
be
guys at Pasco. There will be also this year with the video team. So I'm sure it will be again a very good quality video recording.
Yes. And they provided very large amounts of gummy bears, I remember.
Oh, very good.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, they are famous in Germany. This how they are called?
Gummy bears.
But I think
There's
they
a
have-
gummy bear song, isn't there?
Yeah, but the Caribou is their name.
Caribou.
Haribo, yeah. Or as Randy knows them, Ourson Gelatine.
Okay, yes, that's correct.
And in fact, you know what, Andy, we're going to have to make sure that we turn up with lots and lots of Bassett's jelly babies, which are the very British thing to take.
They are. They don't last quite as long as gummy bears, though, but they are tastier.
I love the idea of you two going through customs with like half a ton of gummy bears and Bassett's and explaining why.
Well, normally they don't last that long, do they? Particularly if you've got Mr. Ulla Johansson anyway.
Or Mr. Bodie, indeed.
Or even Mr. Randy Resnick.
That's correct that Ole said something about possibly coming, so let me try to email him while you're all holding forth.
Well, just say that there are gummy bears. He'll be in.
So Daniel, is there a theme I should be aware of this year?
Apart from gummy bears.
Yes, apart from foolishness.
What do you mean by that, especially?
Well, I mean, is there some new kind of are we covering like 5G or some other topic that I mean, obviously it'll be the things that we all know and love in terms of kind of SIP routing and running big SIP servers and how to, but will there be extra topics that we should be kind of reading up
I
on?
expect 5G to come from the institute guys. Not sure who is gonna present what, but they did a lot of 5G, especially last autumn in October or so. They had like a 5G week in Berlin, but the Fraunhofer Focus Institute was a co-organizer or a host. So they do a lot there. The usual WebRTC gang and group of speakers chat, but also Dan Jenkins is going to be around.
Dan is extremely good.
Cool.
So then, of course, parts of Kamailio presentations about use cases and what other people do with.
Gosh, you're building it. It sounds so exciting, Daniel. It's the way you sell it.
Yeah, and then of course, what can be used together with Kamailio and around the real-time communication from Asterix, from Allison, from the other guys in the projects related to real-time communications. Again, we haven't reviewed all the presentation today. I think it's like the official deadline for public submission, but as usual, there is a bunch of slots reserved for sponsors, but also special guests. So, but we have again quite good group of submissions so far, and I'm sure we'll be able to match everything together in a very good package, I would say. From my perspective, it really looks better than even last year, where we had like a celebration for Kamailio project, 15 years of development. Nice location again, Berlin, good beer, good and quite cheap food and other attraction for those that want museums, plenty of options. For those that want shopping, even more options.
Yes, shopping, Allison, shopping.
Oh, is there shopping? Oh,
Just a tiny
very
bit.
good. Fantastic.
Then in terms of, exact topic, I know probably still this 4G, 5G is going to have some.
I suspect it might. The odd multi-operator neutral host small cell in people's pockets. Is that a small cell in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me?
Yeah. Sorry. Dragos or Karsten who typically act in this area. I haven't made my mind about my presentation exactly, but we'll be there in time. The last one for Who Resists, the long 3 days or 2 days and a half. Now we're starting at the beginning of the week because, again, Berlin became quite a big attraction for events. And it's not easy to find free slots, especially in spring where there is Easter, it's 4th of May, a couple of other public holidays around. But I think it's the right period of the year where people, are not busy with vacation, a bit more relaxed with, spring it's coming or it's already spring. It's a bit more joy around. Hopefully it will be sunny. Sometimes Berlin could be a bit too rainy, but that period of time.
Berlin in the late spring is just beautiful. Because the sun shines and it's not too hot, but it's sunny. So yeah, brilliant place to be. Sorry, I'm interrupting you again, but you can tell I'm all enthused. I want to be there now.
Yeah, I would like also to have spring around, to be honest.
Yeah, what's the weather like in Berlin at the moment? I'm there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think today was a bit colder than usual, -5 even at noon. Maybe now in the evening it's a bit more.
It sounds like the temperature here in my back cave today.
So in the next days, I think it's warming up a bit, but don't expect to go much over the 0 degrees Celsius. hopefully by the time of the event we'll have around 18, 20 and sunny outside.
It's been beautiful, and let me just add also that the first one of the earlier years, a bunch of the folks went out. In fact, they roped me into a Segway tour of Berlin, and which is not cheap, and I was not that interested. But once we got on it, it was fantastic. So when you have time during the day, which you may not, but if you do, that's a great thing to do. I did send a. Let me see if that might be Ule answering. No, it's not. Okay. He promised he'd come. Well, he said he promised he'd consider it, but he didn't. Anyway, we had TJ and a bunch of other people on that. James chickened out and didn't come.
Well, no, I have work to do.
Yeah, right. That's what they say.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I know. You had work to do.
We professionals.
But anyway, there's a lot of great things to do. And some of us are bringing our better halves, for lack of a better term. And the reason for that is because Berlin's such a great place. So you have an excuse if your boss or your company is paying for it, which doesn't apply to anybody here, actually. But if you were, you could maybe take that other person, your significant other, or somebody that you are looking at as a potential significant other, bring that person to Berlin, charm them with the charms of Berlin. Berlin's a great place, and the conference, as Tim said, is in a location that is right on the river, so there's a whole bunch of things you can do, including take a little boat thing or just walk along the river. There's probably 10 cafes right there. A very charming place. What was that?
There are good museums around the corner as well.
Good museums, and if I dare repeat myself, Wire headquarters. And there is a party happening during that time.
Cocktail party.
And Berlin is Berlin, which means that there's anything, pretty much anything you might want to look for in the evening, you will find somewhere. You
oh my God!
Have to ask.
I don't know if that's.
And I know you.
Yes, shopping. Yes, shopping.
No, but so
that's on the level of planting the seeds, Tim. Nice one.
I was sitting. Actually, I have no idea where I was in Berlin at some ridiculous hour in the morning, and I said, "Well, I think I'll head back to the flat." And the person I was with, said, "It's getting a bit." I said, "It's getting a bit late, and I think I'll head back." And he looked at me and he said, "It's Berlin. The night is always young." So this is the attitude there. You start partying on a Friday and you stop on Monday morning when it's time to go to work.
It's always the shank of the evening. Kathleen, your first time was in Berlin last year. Maybe you have some advice for Allison.
See as much as you can see while you're there. It's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and it's a lot of fun. So
excellent.
I'm very excited to go back.
Funny, having lived in Paris for over 20 years, Paris is, of course, a huge destination. I had not been to Berlin. I'd been to other parts of Germany. And the first time, which was probably 3 or 4 years ago, coming to Kamailio World. First of all, you have, during the day, you've got all the Kamailio stuff, and you're meeting all these great people and having a lot of fun. But that's one level. But then in the evening, you're looking for restaurants and beer and all of that. And Berlin is actually a wonderful place. I think we've done the good commercial for Berlin already, but I just wanted to underline that it's actually, you wouldn't think so unless you'd been there. I think that's the bottom line of it, is that Paris, somebody told you, hey, you could fly to Paris tonight. You'd go. Most people would be thrilled. Well, Berlin is a very similar thing. It's a world-class city. It's fantastic. It's diverse in every possible meaning of that word, including food. Oh, we had well, you can get a pretty decent hamburger there, and there was I can't tell the story. It's too long and it's too silly, but it has to do with the elections and the fact that they had a tip jar, and there was a tip jar for each candidate, and they were trying to determine who was going to win, and I'm not going to say anything more about that. Anyway, where should we go from here? Daniel, is there anything we have not said about Kamailio World?
Well, maybe I should add that for Allison, that also Astricon and Free Switch are more in this kind of conference. Is not something where people are very formal or so. It's a friendly atmosphere and should not worry about anything. I'm sure everyone knows her, at least the voice. People are just chatting around and not something that it's too strict in everything.
Got it. Absolutely.
And you'll find also a lot of known faces that maybe you don't remember the name, as everyone travels. Of course, we forget names, but they were at many Astricons, I know, from that and this year. So for sure you met many of them. And again, this year, including in the speakers group, it's a big bunch of North American. So besides with Alex, Fred, Matt from Legion EU, and at least one other guy, if I remember, was around 6 people should be speakers from USA, North America.
Yes.
So they are the usual faces also at ClueCon, Astricon.
Well, from Astricon, I've learned never to say, it's good to meet you, because I forget that I've met people. So I've learned to say, it's so good to see you. So that sort of covers people you have met and have not met. And also, I'm losing my mind as I'm getting older.
Well, I'm pleased to say that the GoFundMe Allison Fund has just gone up by 20%.
That's fantastic. See, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yep. It's good news.
So is anyone from the Free Switch community going to be there?
Of course.
Well,
Kathleen's going to be there. William's going to be there. And who else?
Who else, Kathleen?
At the moment, I believe that's the only ones that we can commit to.
Well, that's good enough.
Cool.
And Fred, of course.
Well, yeah, from the community. And by the way, Fred, that's fantastic. So Fred and
Mrs. Fred as well.
Jenny are coming, and Jenny's another charming person. Who
we're going to have Mrs. Randy too, aren't we?
What's that?
Your wife is coming, Randy.
She is.
But mine isn't after last year.
I'm so disappointed that Sophie's not coming.
No, she wanted to, but the school term just doesn't work out quite right.
Well, she could quit her job. It's worth it.
Married to a school teacher.
Quitting her job is worth having the dinner with me at the Thai restaurant.
That's what she said. She said exactly that.
But you stopped her because you wouldn't want.
Exactly. Who is this Mr. Magnet? Yeah, she thought that you were absolutely charming, Randy, for some reason.
Yeah, well, that's because
So
she did not have.
Well,
Don't have
in
dinner.
comparison with the other people around the table, that's all, including me.
Wasn't that at that same Berlin that we went to the pizza place with this huge table of people? Does that ring a bell for anybody?
It does. I remember because Kathleen, you were there, weren't you?
Or was that Lisbon? Oh my God!
No. I think
You're thinking of ClueCon.
No, actually,
I've never been.
no. You're thinking of Berlin. Hang on.
No, there was a really.
Yeah, I've never been to
really
ClueCon.
Pizza place.
And it's a
You've never been
huge.
to ClueCon.
I have never
Can
ever
you
been.
never, ever have been to ClueCon. And now that Allison's going to become the voice of Free Switch,
I might have to
going
come.
to have to do Chicago as well.
Of
Chicago
course,
in August. Yes.
of course,
Yes.
of course. And I will be in California in August. What are the dates for ClueCon, by the way? I'm sure Kathleen knows by heart.
I do, the 7th through the 11th.
Okay. Oh, that's what 7-Eleven was about, maybe, huh?
Perhaps it is.
You got it now. Okay.
And the good news is I've already booked my British Airways flight.
Yeah, but they're not going to be letting any British people in by then.
the access
Certainly not anyone carrying gummy bears.
jelly babies.
Well, indeed, worse.
All right, we're getting too inside baseball here. We do need to know if there's anything we're forgetting, and we're happy to. Well, all right, let's.
Well, we're
out of
forgetting
fairness-
Brian K. West, who is sitting apparently in a hangout entirely on his own.
Yeah, he can't get in. I was going to say, for fairness' sake, we really, for equal time, should be finding out. Should be mentioning when the dates for Astricon are and where it is. It's in Florida again, Orlando. And who knows the dates off the top of
Allison
their
will
head?
know what the dates are.
October 3rd to 5th in Orlando, Florida.
There you go. So
Yeah.
Orlando again, hey? Whoa.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's the same venue. It might be. Yeah.
No, it isn't. It is a different venue.
Oh.
Which
Is
is
it?
probably a good thing, because if you recall, they used to have members of staff wandering around wearing those coconut shell tops. I got into big trouble with a photograph with two of those staff members attired in the way they were photographed in front of somebody's stand.
Yes,
Oh.
somebody was not at all pleased.
No, they weren't, were they?
No, quite rightly so.
And poor old Diggs got digged in the ribs, didn't he, over that? Because he happened to be in the same photograph with these staff members wearing their staff uniforms.
Here I thought it was Mrs. Bodie who was having an issue with coconut bra ladies.
Good heavens.
Oh, what? Funny thing is,
Good
I
heavens.
can't imagine having to wear those as your staff uniform, because it must be horribly uncomfortable.
They're very scratchy.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Anyway, changing the subject very rapidly. Not the subject we want to be talking about, really.
An uncomfortable silence.
Yes. Well, I think we can be assured that there will be no staff members wearing coconut bras at Kamailio World.
Definitely no.
No, everybody will be comfortably dressed.
Yeah, we'll have to take our own.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
allowed.
Is there somewhere outside that we can park our little what do they call the little East German cars?
Trabant?
Trabbies, yes.
Travis.
Yeah. So in the past we've done the thing on two-wheelie thing tour. So we ought to do a Trabby tour, open top Trabbies.
Yeah, I know there is a station for them, but it's at next to Checkpoint Charlie, which should not be that far from.
Somebody rented one. Who was it? Was it Dan Lane rented a Trappy?
I can't see Dan Lane driving a Trabby.
Somebody did, and I've got it in my head that it was Dan. But
But
anyway.
you know, there is a limo, like a Trabi, but a limo style, so you can rent that for the entire gang and have a tour of Berlin.
Can we rent it
that?
still? Can we rent
You
it?
remember the one from that guy in at Klukon, I think?
Yes, I remember that.
Now it's time for one similar, but a Trabi style.
Yeah, a stretched open top Trabby limo.
God, that sounds like a death trap.
I think this is Berlin. They don't really care.
What?
Well, I mean, in the UK, it is completely illegal to ride anything like what do they call those two-wheel things you went on a tour on?
Segway.
Yeah, segways. In the roads or anywhere that isn't on private land. The same is true for any motorized scooter or hover-type board, as they call them. You can't do any of that stuff in the UK.
In Germany, you can take it on the autobahn, and there's no speed limit.
Yeah.
That's one of the things about Berlin that I really like, which is that it feels quite spacious.
Is.
There's still a decent amount of room. Kind of, the roads are quite wide, but they've got cycle lanes and whatever. But it sort of doesn't feel a cramped city in the same way that kind of London does these days, and true. Paris does sometimes.
Yes.
How about Barcelona?
Well, I really like Barcelona, but yeah, no, you can feel a bit kind of hemmed in there.
And that's a good segue, because guess where we're going in 16 days' time?
So you're blowing your entire budget on
no, we're blowing
3 days in
budget.
MWC.
That's the clever bit. Apparently, we're quite popular, and people want to pay to have us on their stand. Which is,
really?
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't it?
You sure they're not sending you to other people's stands?
Nope.
that would be a really cunning thing.
Andy and I, already have.
Pay Mr. Bodie to hang around with a bunch of coconut girls outside the wrong people's stand.
Yeah.
I can see a business in that, James.
No, I almost got into trouble last year on one of the Chinese hardware manufacturers' stands, and they do use very attractive young ladies to demonstrate some of their wares.
The wares of the young ladies or the wares of the company?
Well, these young ladies were wearing these kind of diaphanous, floaty white things. They caught my eye immediately as I was floating past. And I got snapped with a number of those, and there were comments made about that.
Seems to me that we're getting into the mature audience's only
But I was
version.
only interested in the technology of Clearly.
Of course you were, James.
Clearly.
I'm going to take this out, and we're going to, whoever would like to
Clean
stay.
it up, yeah.
Whoever would like to stay. All right, so Brian
Can we
K.
have a
West,
T-shirt made with that on it?
Brian-
Which
Brian-
says, of course you were, James.
Brian K. West was not able to get in, even though I gave him a very secret Gmail and gave him the password, but apparently that didn't work out or something. So too bad. Sorry about that. I just want to remind you all, that Kamailio World is May 8th to 10th. It's in Berlin. And I'm going to go through all of the people and thank them now. That would be Allison Smith. Allison, thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Randy. Thanks, guys.
And
Looking
remember,
forward to it.
wardrobe for Berlin.
And we
Absolutely.
Yes. And we all love you, Allison. Next up, we also all love Andy Smith. And there he is, Andy Smith, with his lights on.
Yeah, it is. It is on. I've just not been saying anything. It's a bit difficult to get a word in edgeways with both you and James fawning all the time.
Very good point.
It is certainly a young lady very much worth fawning over. And indeed, our photographs around the web, as Mr. and Mrs. Smith will verify.
They are.
two young ladies. Two young ladies. Anyway, we're going to move on to Daniel. Daniel, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you very soon.
Thank you, Randy. See you.
Always great to have you.
Chat before. Back on VUC probably.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to definitely do another segment in a month or two. Mr. James Bodie, a pillar of the community. Why are you dressed like that, James? Is it that cold out there? Don't you have any heat?
I'm freezing in here. That's why.
Don't you have any heat in that place? What is it, the chicken coop you're out?
No, this is my bat cave. I actually have to leave the house to come into this part of the house.
Well, then you should probably get a heater.
Well, I've turned you on, actually. And
I don't mean a gun. I can say in the United States.
Out of the computer. It kind of heated things up a bit, actually.
There you go. Okay, well, get an old Windows machine, a Pentium 5, and it'll heat things up. Kathleen King. Hello, Kathleen, and welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
And goodbye. Thanks so much for joining us, Kathleen.
You've still got that new hairstyle as well. New hairstyle.
Yeah, James noted that you had a new hairstyle.
Yes.
Don't change.
I was thinking about doing blue, so we'll see.
No, don't do the blue. No.
Don't change before Berlin. We'll see you there.
All right.
Michael Graves. Let's see if we can hear you, Michael. We've been having some problems with that. He's putting his headset back on. One.
Come in,
two.
Mr. Graves.
No audio for the moment.
By your command.
But he's not talking, that's why.
I think he may be on a call. There he is.
Nice time. Yeah, y'all were having such a nice time on your own. I was just letting it go and listening on the loudspeaker.
Yeah, and there we are. Cylon, unfortunately.
A little bit of Cylon, Michael, but thanks for everything.
It must be so frustrating for somebody who is such a perfectionist with audio to go Cylon.
And we so need to get him to Berlin. We're going to have to do our own GoFundMe for that, okay?
That's right. Well, we've got to
Let's
keep
do that. All right, and the last person on the list, Mr. Tim Panton.
My evil
Thank you,
twin.
Tim, as always. What's cooking tonight, Tim? I can tell you what I did.
Oh God, I don't know actually. I haven't even thought about it. I don't even know if there is anything. Maybe I'll starve.
Well, I'm not going to starve because I already cooked earlier today. It's the chicken. It's the Afghan cashew curried chicken.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well, let me just see if I can get a flight. I'll join you.
It's going to be good. And there's that last minute URL next to my beautiful dental work that I'm going to be having done and finished next couple of weeks. Kamailioworld.com. By the way, you have to put the www in front of it. I haven't seen a site like that in like 20 years where you absolutely have to have the www or it does not connect. That's right. Anyway, back to this.
I just tried it. It's working.
It didn't work for me for some reason. Anyway, one last word. Let me see if this works.
Hello, VUC folks. This is
damn
former President Barack Obama.
Well,
As I am now a
for
seeker.
some reason, the video's not working. Anyway, I thought that was very funny. I worked for hours getting it synced much better than the last time, and it does not work. So what can I tell you? I don't know why. I don't know where. Good night, everybody. And we're going to start the mature audiences only segment right now.